I'm Ryan Gallucci, Deputy Legislative Director for the VFW, and we're here today with Congressman Jeff Miller in his Capitol Hill office. And Congressman Miller is the chairman of the House Veterans Affairs Committee. And the Congressman's Veterans Opportunity to Work Act just cleared the House last night with overwhelming support from both sides of the aisle. So we wanted to take a few minutes to come down here today and speak with the chairman about his bill. So Chairman, first, thank you for taking the time out of your schedule to sit down with us. We know that this is an incredibly important bill, so we just wanted to ask, why was this important to you to take up the VOW Act?
Well, first of all, thanks a lot for stopping by the office. I appreciate any time I have an opportunity to communicate with the veterans out across the United States of America and really around the world. You know, one of the things that everybody agrees on is the unemployment numbers out there across the board are way too high, and certainly with the veteran community, they're higher than they should be. And so I thought that it was important that we kind of go out and lay a groundwork, a basis, and actually set a goal to try to get veteran unemployment numbers back down to around 5%, which has been a historic number over a long period of time. And I think by starting with the VOW Act, we're heading in the right direction.
Absolutely. Now, as I mentioned before, it passed with overwhelming bipartisan support. 418 of your colleagues voted for this bill. Why do you think your colleagues took this up as a cause as well?
I think, you know, it's the right thing to do at the right time. There are many things that we can do in Washington with the policies that we vote on a periodic basis. It's not our job in Washington to create jobs, but we certainly can go out and do something, hopefully, that will create an environment out there to allow businesses to expand. That's, of course, I believe, through tax breaks, credits, or giving them a little bit of an opportunity to forecast ahead with the rules and regulations. But the other thing is, we've got to help the veterans be prepared in today's environment, today's economy. Some of that may be retraining, which our bill actually does by expanding the GI Bill for folks that have been unemployed to retrain, retool, if you will, to get back into the workforce. Because after all, I'm a firm believer that if we train our veterans to come out into today's workforce, we will again have the most well-trained workforce in this country probably since the Second World War.
So you talked about expanding some benefits to unemployed veterans. What do you see as some of the immediate changes that veterans could expect should the VOW Act become law?
Well, as you said, should it become law? Because it's passed one House, now it has to pass the Senate, and then of course we have to get together in conference. But we've already been talking with my Senate counterparts. The staffs have been communicating back and forth, and it's really my goal that by the 11th of November, that this bill be on the President's desk so he can sign it. Once the bill is signed, you will begin to see, obviously, the GI Bill benefits will begin to expand at that point. It will give us the opportunity to work with governors, associations, and individual governors in states around the country to help veterans that are returning that have specific job descriptions that they were doing in the theater back home, whether it be a combat medic or a truck driver. Surely somebody that has been a medic in the fog of war qualifies to be an EMT back in their local community. We've got to find a way to break this requirement of a long-term process, because sure, veterans want to come home, decompress a little, reconnect with their family, but they're ready to go to work. And I'll be honest with you, we have heard from company after company around Capitol Hill in the United States that veterans are exactly the type of employees that people are looking for.
Now, you talked about some of what would happen in the future. Now, veterans unemployment it took another hit in September. As you can see from veterans of Iraq and Afghanistan, it's now back up to 11%. With the metrics that you included in this bill to start tracking transition assistance program outcomes, employment placement outcomes, what do you see as the long-term effects for that unemployment rate?
Well, it's interesting that you would reference TAP, because transition assistance is critical. Unfortunately, right now, the Marines are the only ones that mandate it for folks coming out of the service. We have to find a way to get folks that are transitioning out of the service to sit down just for a little while and allow folks to tell them what the benefits are out there. Make sure that they know that, hey, if you are a gunner on a Humvee, that may not be something obviously that you can find work out in the regular world. However, you've got so many qualities as a person with responsibility. You know what hard work is. You don't mind working at night. You may not want to, but you've done it before. And so you are ready to step into a workforce prepared. I've had people in my community that build houses that say, give me somebody who's been in the service, who has been trained and has the qualities and the ethics that our veterans have. I will teach them to build the house. That's easy. You bring me somebody that's not a reliable person that knows how to build a house, they're certainly not going to do what I need.
Well, absolutely, and veterans bring that punctuality, they bring the sense of mission and purpose, they're willing to work overtime, and it's very important that our civilian employers understand that. Now, as we talked about before, it's passed the House now, it's going to the Senate. We saw last night that Senator Murray, chairman of the Senate Veterans Affairs Committee, has said that she agrees that we want to see some kind of veterans jobs bill take effect. Now, the VFW, we mobilized our grassroots effort in support of the VOW Act. And what would you say to a veteran or a VFW member who may be watching this video, what they can do to help make sure that the Senate takes action?
Well, first of all, I've got to say thank you to everybody with VFW, not only on the Hill, but around the United States, that in fact have been emailing their members of Congress. Now we've got to do the same for the Senate. We've got to get Harry Reid, as the leader of the Senate, convinced that this is important to bring it to the floor. I know that Senator Murray has a good relationship with the leader over there, but to do this by Veterans Day, I think is critical. I think that it sends a good message to the veterans out in the United States that we are looking out for you. It's another way that we can expand benefits that are available to you. And again, using social media and of course emails, which we receive a lot of them in this office, and I'm sure other members do too. Contact your local senator and put a little bit of pressure on them and say, look, the House has passed theirs. We've got to have, two things have to happen. Either the Senate has to bring theirs up and pass, or they've got to agree to take our bill up over in the Senate. We'll take either. I mean, we can, our bills are very similar.
Exactly.
There are some things that are different. Ours is a little bit broader, doesn't require certain things that hers does. Ours requires something. That's what compromise is all about. This is a critical piece of legislation. It's most important to the veterans, and I'm hopeful that Senator Murray and I can reach an agreement very soon.
Absolutely. And as you know, Chairman Miller, the VFW has wholeheartedly supported the Veterans Opportunity to Work Act from day one. We were honored to submit our testimony back in July for this, and it's something that we mobilized our membership in support of as well. And we've heard from our members that they're very excited about this bill, and they're very excited about the effort to get our veterans back into the workforce. So again, I want to thank you for taking a few minutes to sit down with us and explain your bill. And we're going to keep pushing to make sure that it gets through the Senate and becomes the law.
Well, thank you very much. It's an honor to chair the Veterans Affairs Committee, and thank you so much to the Veterans of Foreign Wars.